Hi, and welcome to our Detroit Lions special. A lot going on in the National Football League and a lot of it involving the Detroit Lions. And who better to talk football than the Detroit Lions than Detroit Lions legend Barry Sanders, the greatest runner in football history. Barry, you have been involved as an advisor of the Detroit Lions, and a lot has gone on since the end of the season. You were involved as an advisor in the process that ended up in the hiring of a new general manager, Brad Holmes, a new head coach, Dan Campbell. What was that like to be on the inside of that?
Well, for me, it was pretty neat to just go through the process, have conversations with Chris and with Rod about some of the things they were thinking, some of the coaches that they plan to interview. It was sort of a side of it that I hadn't seen. I don't know how much my input had to do with anything, but it was certainly different and a new experience for me, just to be involved in the process in a small way. And so, there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. A lot of people want those jobs, and you gotta, there's a lot weighing on it. There's a lot of responsibility weighing on it. So hats off to Chris and Rod, for the selections they made, and hopefully going forward, we'll see the benefit of those choices.
Yeah, that would be Rod Wood and Chris Spielman. Chris, of course, was a teammate of yours, a linebacker, Pro Bowl linebacker for the Detroit Lions back in the '90s. What do you make of the guys that they hired now? Brad Holmes had experience as a personnel man with the Rams, and of course, Dan Campbell played a 10-year career as a blocking tight end. Spent three of his last three seasons as an active player here in Detroit. What do you make of those hirings, and what have you seen of in the first couple of weeks since they've been on the job?
Both men have been around winning football, and both of those organizations, sort of perennial playoffs and playing deep into the playoffs and just really well-run organizations. So you like seeing that. I think with Coach Campbell, obviously he's a guy who we're hoping that we're looking at the same sort of a mold as someone like a Frank Reich, or something like that, a guy who played the game, or Mike Vrabel, who you played the game for a lot of years, you coached for a lot of years, you've been around really some of well-respected coaches, sort of thing, and so I think that's kind of what we're thinking and hoping, we'll see how it works out.
And Barry, one of the things now we can't ignore this is, look, the Lions have made a lot of noise with their hirings, but nothing compared to the trade that they worked with the Los Angeles Rams. Still, it won't be finalized until March 17th, but Matthew Stafford, look, I was a big Matthew Stafford fan. He had 12, I thought, great years here in Detroit. Traded to the Rams for a quarterback, Jared Goff, 2 first-round draft picks, and a third-round pick. How do you view that? That's a pretty bold move, I think, on both parts, the Rams and the Detroit Lions. But what's the shakeout for the Detroit Lions?
Oh, hey, look, Mike, it was monumental, man. It was like a big earthquake,
Earthquake.
It was like a big earthquake. I mean, so everything is just kind of settling in, really, and we're just trying to sort of getting our our wits about us to see, okay, what are we going to do going forward? Obviously, Jared has played in a lot of big games in his years in the league, his few short years in the NFL, having played in the Super Bowl and in several playoff games, including this year. And then Matthew, obviously, he carried the franchise for many years and was such just a valuable, important part of everything around here over the last decade, and just put up huge numbers. And you always, you love going on to the mat with a guy like Matt, because he always gave you a chance, and so he still has a lot of great football left ahead of him. And so good luck to him. And then with Jared Goff coming here, obviously a high draft pick in the 2015 or 16 draft. And like I said before, put up some quality wins. He's had a lot of talent around him. Hopefully we'll get Kenny Galladay signed. That'll work well in his favor. And we'll just move forward, and you would think that Jared hasn't even necessarily reached his peak in his prime as a player. And so I think that's one of the things that as a Lions fan, we're all looking forward to and hopeful for.
And when you look at what's happened in the last 2 or 3 weeks, look, there have been changes in the Detroit Lions front office since this is the fourth major change, really a rebuild of the front office since the 2001 season. Barry, what do you see though in the direction of this franchise right now? And you've been through a lot of this yourself as a player and now as a close observer of the game. What is the direction of the Detroit Lions? Is the needle pointing upward now?
Coach Campbell came in and his press conference, you could kind of get a feel for his personality, that he's pretty gritty and kind of has an edge to him, and even kind of entertained us a little bit, so we get a sense for maybe the kind of guys he wants to have on his team, and so yeah, I think you can certainly say there's been a great turnover. We're heading in a new direction, and hopefully, yes, as you said, the needle's pointing up.
Well, he reminded me of Wayne Fonts a little bit without the cigar. A little bit of show.
Right. It was a little bit of a showmanship to it, and humor and things like that. So yes, that does sort of remind you of Wayne.
Tell us a little bit about the Rocket Mortgage Super Bowl Squares sweepstakes.
Oh, absolutely. With the Rocket Mortgage Super Bowl Square sweepstakes, Mike, basically it's just giving fans who are watching the big game a chance to win a lot of cash. Every score change during the game, fans will have a chance to win $50,000. 2 lucky fans will win $500,000. You can find out more about it at rocketmortgagesquares.com. It's free to play. It's going to be an exciting game. You got 2, of the league's best quarterbacks and fantastic offenses. We hope the scoreboard lights up, for the benefit of Rocket Mortgage Squares players. But that's what it is. So go to rocketmortgagesquares.com to find out more about it.
And one last thing, we have Calvin Johnson has a chance to get in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The voting is going to be announced Saturday evening. What would you think of Calvin as a Hall of Famer in his career here in Detroit?
Well, I mean, I'm probably not the one to ask because I am a little biased, but I don't know how you can keep the guy out. I don't know how you can keep him out. I mean, if you look at just the numbers that he put up, and how dominant he was as a player during his time. I know it sometimes can be difficult for receivers, because I feel like the standard changes pretty much every year or two for receivers. And I don't know how many, I'm sure there are people out there that remembers Harold Carmichael. But just, he was sort of like a modern day Harold Carmichael with sprinter speed, I mean, in the fact that the guy went over 2,000 yards one season, just shows how dominant he was. So yeah, I'm hoping that he gets in. I'm hoping that he gets in. I mean, I know he'll get in eventually, but first ballot, I'm assuming he'll get in. Good luck to him. And good luck to really all the all the finalists, but certainly good luck to Calvin on getting in.
All right, Barry Sanders. Well, thanks again. Thanks for being with us on our Detroit Lions special. Always good to talk to the greatest running back in history.
Hey, Mike, thanks for having me. Good to see you.
Pleasure's mine.